Most people think they grasp what unfolded at the Battle of the Alamo. They recall the date. They recall the result. They know the standard tale that textbooks echo. What they seldom encounter is how that clash appeared, rang out, and fell to the fighters positioned beyond the walls, fighters who viewed themselves not as evildoers, but as troops executing commands in what they saw as a legitimate operation. This narrative draws from the journals of José Enrique de la Pena, a Mexican military officer who advanced with Santa Anna through the Texas effort of 1836 and joined the attack on the Alamo personally. Pena wasn't a spin doctor. He didn't pen to stir nationalism or defend carnage. He documented to capture occurrences as he observed them, including choices he deemed errors. His record endures because it rejects oversimplifying the events. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. The attack on the Alamo happened on the morning of March 6, 1836. By that point, the Mexican forces had been active in Texas for weeks amid brutal circumstances. To Santa Anna, this wasn't a conflict between nations. It was an effort to quash revolt, reclaim control, and deliver a warning that defiance would face no mercy. That conviction defined the mood and the harshness of the operation. On February 17th, Santa Anna assembled his men and spoke to them straight. Pena noted the address meticulously. Santa Anna informed his troops that holy obligation had drawn them to Texas. He portrayed the Texian fighters not as valid warriors, but as outsider opportunists who had preyed on Mexico's inner frailty to claim territory. He recalled for the forces the Mexican lives already lost at Anahuac, at Goliad, and at Bexar. The upcoming battle, he stressed, was not just essential, it was righteous. The impact on the troops was swift. Pena observes that leaders shook hands when directives arrived to press on. Many dreaded passing up the chance to rank among the initial clashers. To engage was a privilege. To perish in combat was embraced as a cost worth bearing. There was assurance in manpower, assurance in command, and assurance that triumph was certain. Within the Alamo, the rhetoric was just as unyielding. Texian commanders cautioned their ranks that Santa Anna's horde embodied despotism itself. They evoked homes razed, kin assaulted, and freedom snuffed out. The term liberty echoed repeatedly in dispatches and orations until it bore the force of an ethical imperative. Both factions deemed their mission virtuous. Both factions deemed the foe perilous. That shared conviction allowed scant space for mercy. On February 23rd, Mexican horsemen neared San Antonio de Bexar prior to sunrise. The garrison was surprised and pulled back swiftly into the Alamo grounds. Santa Anna first presumed the chapel lay vacant and commanded it seized. That notion evaporated in a flash when an 18-pound gun boomed from the Alamo ramparts and broke the plaza's hush. Mexican guns were rolled up, explosives were hurled, haze wafted over the exposed terrain between the lines. At one point, a white banner emerged from within the stronghold. James Bowie dispatched a note suggesting talks. Santa Anna's reply was instant and firm. He refused to bargain. He declined to acknowledge the garrison as legal fighters. There would be no deals, merely total capitulation. The note aimed to cow them. Instead, it stiffened defiance. When William B. Travis got that reply, Pena spotted a shift. Travis grasped its implication. From then on, yielding ceased to be a dignified choice. The Alamo, in Travis's view, turned into a spot to hold or a spot to fall. Pena offers a note that seldom surfaces in common accounts. In the siege's opening phase, the Mexican ring was partial. Watchfulness varied. Openings persisted. Travis might have slipped away under night's veil. Pena declares outright that the chance existed. Travis ignored it. Just one minor band of aid, roughly 60 strong, slipped into the Alamo amid the blockade. No rescue force trailed. No provision train showed. Inside the walls, rations shrank. Powder was conserved. Each round grew vital. Still, for 12 days, the garrison withstood nonstop shelling without a single loss. Travis even claimed their banner kept waving over the battlements, plain to the Mexican ranks encircling them. It served as a badge of rebellion, yet it pinpointed their spot unceasingly. Within the walls, strain mounted. Peña logs that a few garrison members pressed Travis to yield or try flight. Starvation, exhaustion, and doubt bore down. On March 5th, Travis vowed that, absent aid that day, they'd capitulate next or bolt under cover of dark. Word of these talks seems to have hit the Mexican leaders. Peña thought Santa Anna hastened the charge to claim a bold and striking win. A meek yielding offered no praise. Blood, some felt, fueled renown. A war council convened on March 4th. Various commanders pushed hard against a prompt strike. They pressed for restraint. Big guns were en route, they noted, and with them the Alamo could crumble fast and with much less toll. Peña held this stance and figured the site could fall steadily. Santa Anna dismissed their advice. The charge was set for dawn on March 6th. Setup ran through all of March 5th. 4 strike groups formed, backed by backups. Rules were rigid. Quiet was required. Tobacco was banned. As dusk settled, the forces forded the San Antonio River and took posts in gloom by the walls. The suspense crushed. Peña depicts a hush that burdened every soul. All knew by sunrise many wouldn't draw breath. Some penned last thoughts. Others crouched mute, clutching arms, attuned to the dark. Moments shy of daybreak, one bugle blared. Peña termed it the death horn's wail. The groups surged ahead. The garrison snapped to action. To offset their scant ranks, Travis had set extra rifles by each fighter. The outcome was non-stop barrage, fiercer than invaders foresaw. Mexican ranks dropped in droves. Gun blasts ripped through pushing lines. Leaders fell swift. Scaling tools were few, shoddy, or never hit the heights. Turmoil grew as squads tangled and shouts drowned in din, yet the push endured. Troops pressed via fog and blasts, scaling past hurtmates and corpses. Blades pierced skin at the crests. Handguns popped point blank. The racket engulfed all. Musket cracks, salvo roars, barked commands, yells, and maimed howls blending into bedlam. At length, sheer volume won. Mexican fighters seized the walls and flooded the Alamo. In the yard, opposition crumbled fast. Some holdouts fell back to rooms and barred entries. Others stayed open, shooting till felled in place. Peña spots William B. Travis in those last instants. Travis didn't bolt. He pushed up, halted, wheeled, and shot nonstop. Travis died battling. Peña grants him due respect. He paints Travis as bold and steadfast, a figure who elected to hold with a tiny, ill-equipped band against drilled troops vastly outnumbering. He shuns any effort to belittle the garrison's valor. With Travis's end, structured fight ceased. Most holdouts perished in the clash. Still, Peña logs that a handful outlasted the first fury and got captured. These were hauled to Santa Anna. Certain leaders objected. They pled for clemency and invoked codes of dignity and compassion. Peña lists them and lauds their guts for voicing dissent amid peril. Santa Anna denied them. The captives faced death. Peña's assertion that certain holdouts, including a figure thought to be Davy Crockett, got taken breathing sparks debate. Yet Peña lacked motive to invent it. His tale blasts the call, faults the general, and laments needless deaths. He saw the win as empty. Over 300 Mexican troops perished. Lives Peña felt could have been spared. The Alamo might have yielded via waiting and barrages. Instead, it yielded via slaughter. The fallout hit quick. Word of the slaughter raced wide. It stunned Texas outposts and steeled revolt. It granted Sam Houston space to rally his men. Recall, the Alamo grew beyond a term. It swelled into a rallying cry that forged the war's coming stage. Peña held the strike hurt Santa Anna's bid more than bolstering it.